if you're thinking about coaching and if you're looking for an options coach and you want to get better at trading, coaching is probably one of the fastest ways to get better at trading. However, it does require some time. You might be wondering, well, how much time is required? And I'll give you some insight here as far as the time that it takes for the people that I've worked with, what they usually put in. So maybe it'll give you a little bit of time to budget for, if you have the time flexibility to even put into coaching and learning to trade successfully. So looking at your bucket of time, and it's really important to consider, this is all the time you have throughout, let's say, the week. And some of that time, you have commitments, like it could be family commitments, right? So that takes up a bit of time. You also have job commitments, which, maybe you still got a full-time job. If you're retired, well, then you have a little more free time. And then you also have some commitments to yourself, like personal commitments, working out, hygiene, showering, that kind of stuff. Now, there might be some other buckets of time or little spots where it's like personal freedom and so forth. But it's somewhere in here and your time is already filled up. And you have to understand, where is that extra time coming in from when you're doing options coaching and when you're learning to trade? Where's that time coming from? So when we start looking at some of this thing, and I'll show you a little breakdown here, is that the amount of time that's required is going to be dependent on the person. But you got to figure out where that time is coming from. So for example, when I'm referring to this time, I'm also looking at typically a 60 days or plus one-on-one coaching. Okay, so that's really what I'm looking at. Now, with this in mind, what I always say is there's a few things that's involved when it comes to coaching and the time that you have to be prepared for. One of the first things is that you need to be prepared for about the one-on-one sessions. So you have your sessions. These take about 1 hour for the week. Okay, so that's kind of one thing right there. So there's kind of 1 hour right there. Okay, another thing you need to be prepared for is reviewing the sessions, because I have people that will review the sessions that we've talked about because they're recorded. And then what they do is they might rewatch it. Now that could be rewatching it in slow motion. It could be rewatching it twice. It could be rewatching it and doing the trades together. But let's say that takes about another, 1 to 2 hours. Okay. Now, beyond that, you have exercises, because the way that I teach is I teach by examples. So we put on example trades and then we follow them along. We look at those, what they did in terms of breaking even, profitability, when to exit, how to manage those trades and that kind of thing. And the more scenarios and examples you do, the better off you'll get. So we put on a lot of examples and we follow those. So this also includes maybe an hour to do your examples every single week, where you're kind of watching, monitoring those trades. Okay. So, and then on top of that, there might be areas where if I see you're struggling, you've got homework. Yes, that's right. I said it. You've got homework to study, which could be, again, about 1 hour of videos. Now, that's not every week, but it's supplemental material that I gather from all my other courses. If I see you're struggling, I'll throw in a couple of videos in there. It's not a lot, but it starts to add up. So when we start adding all this together, there's 1 hour, 2 hours, maybe 3 hours following the examples, and 4 hours. So between 3 to 4 hours a week, you have to find that time. And you have to find that time throughout that week. You see, what I've got is I've got some people, what they'll do is when they go in and they try to allocate that time, they try to do our meetup, let's say on a Thursday, and all of a sudden there's that 1 hour. And sometimes they'll scatter a few things here, or they'll do like a bulk session on a Friday, and that is it. Meaning like they watch their examples, they review the videos, and now everything is done in that one day. Unfortunately, it's a really bad way to go about it because you don't really build habits. Okay. The better approach is actually, one of the things that I see a lot of good students and good people who progress really quickly is actually when we create habits. Rather than meeting up like for 1 hour, like on a Thursday, we actually meet up more like on a Monday, Wednesday, Friday type of thing. And it might not be exactly Monday, Wednesday, Friday. It might be Monday, then a Thursday, then again a Tuesday next week. So I think of it like in terms of a 10-day period, but it's kind of like spread out a little bit more, where it's about a 20-minute session each time. It could be a 30-minute session. But what you're doing is you're kind of spacing things out in different zones and areas throughout the week. That way, what we do is when we're looking at our trade reviews, when we have 6 trades going, we'll go in and space things out where this, on Monday, we might do 2 to 3 trades and take a look at those 2 because they're moving. Then Wednesday, you might look at just 1 or 2 more trades. And then Friday, you kind of look at the remaining trades or whatever's left over. So kind of go around that approach. And I find that works better because number 1, you build a habit. Number 2, you're reviewing trades as they're happening, so you're not forgetting things, and your brain has a chance to soak all that in. So, and then what you can do is throughout that time frame, now you can also space in a little bit more like, hey, do a little bit of studying on Tuesday, do a little bit of studying on Thursday, and do a little bit of studying like on Saturday or something along those lines. But this is a lot better of a way to do that rather than trying to cram everything in on a Thursday and Friday. So as far as time frame goes, I would say looking at things, about 4 hours a week is a smart approach, because if you do the session, then you review that session, then you do the examples or, kind of your example trades that we're following. You keep an eye on them, like, 10, 15 minutes a day. And then you do the homework. That kind of adds in about 4 hours, 3 to 4 hours per week. And you'll want to put in that time throughout the week rather than all at once, right? It's like working out. You're better to show up at the gym multiple times a week rather than once a month and do like one of the largest workouts possible for the year, right? So that's the same thing. Consistency is way more important than doing a bulk batch session. So I hope that helps, answers your question, gives you a little insight and idea as far as how much time is required if you're trying to think about options coaching. You want to improve, you want to get better. It's one of the fastest ways to get better because you not only see trades and examples, you actually build a habit to doing the trades and repeat that process over and over again. However, it does take a time commitment if you're serious. It is faster than trying to learn on your own because that's like 4 hours of studying and hopping around YouTube and so forth. But it still does require quite a bit of time. So anyways, I hope that helps. Truly appreciate you joining me. Feel free to grab some freebies down below if you want to check some things out, like how to grow your account, some different strategy ideas, mental, inner game, outer game worksheets. They're all down below. Thanks, and I'll see you next time.